very warm welcome. You've joined us live on ITV Sport from the Marshall Arena here in Milton Keynes. It's the semi-final action of the Kazoo Masters, all brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands joining us live and the millions joining us around the world, it's time to meet the semi-finalists. From England, would you please welcome the winner of 2 PDC titles and our former Grand Slam semi-finalist. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hollywood Chris Dobey! Ladies and gentlemen, from England, it is time to meet the world's #1, the winner of 22 PDC titles, the reigning Grand Slam champion, and the reigning champion of the world! Let loose the bully boy, Michael Smith!
Michael Smith, a real crowd favourite here at Milton Keynes, and he's looking for 3rd title already in 2023 after success at the Worlds and in Bahrain. In the commentary box for this semi-final against Chris Dobey, Alan Warren-Little and Stuart Pike.
Well, for the first time in 7 years, 3 Englishmen will contest the Masters semi-final. Smith, Dobey, Rob Cross, of course. Peter Wright is the exception. But here he is, the world #1, the #1 seed, the world champion, and good performances to get rid of Ross Smith and Danny Noppert to reach it to the semi-finals. His opponent, Chris Dobey, has produced some cracking darts and some big finishes as well when it's really mattered. Joe Cullen, Luke Humphries and Dirk van Duijvenbode. And at 21, that's not his age, that's his seed, that's his world ranking. It's the lowest ranked player to reach a semi-final here at the Masters since the format switched from 16 to 24 players. And it will be Dobey to get us underway. 11, the magic number for a place in the final.
Yes, here we go. Chris Dobey, tournament average 95.2. That's pretty decent. Michael Smith, just over the 100 mark in his matches. As in both occasions, it has to be said, taking a little bit of time getting going, but once he's got into that rhythm, like he did in the World Championships, incredible.
Yeah, he chastising himself, Smith, for being a slow starter. And it very, very nearly cost him dearly in the quarter-final. Noppert, the Dutchman, missing 3 darts for a 4-1 lead. That would have been a double breaker throw. And Smith then reeled off 6 legs on the spin, won the second session 5-0. And it was pretty much game over. And Smith here has started slowly, 101 with his first 6 darts and not a lot more with his next 3. So it looks like the customary poor start from the world champ, and an easy first leg gifted to Chris Dobey.
It's strange how it happens so often as well. He's pretty much aware of it, so maybe he tries that a little bit harder and it's just not happening. Smile on his face. Just chucking a 140.
And I think he didn't go for the 180 on purpose there. I really do.
So in his mind he wasn't wasting it.
Yeah.
For the first leg. Well, no drama in terms of what Michael Smith is doing, because he's back on 204.
Pressure required, 32.
Try again.
Game show on the
There we have it, first leg.
Chris Dobey, second leg, Michael the Cooper.
He'll be happy with that. He'll be happy to win it. He'll be happy to see Michael Smith struggling.
134.
Chris Dobey bidding to reach his first big TV final in the PDC.
59.
Michael Smith has reached quite a few.
Yes, one or two. Yeah, Chris Dobey though was just really coming to good form at the right time. He played well in the World Championships. Obviously played pretty well here to reach this stage and maybe even further.
96.
Yeah, it's a rarity as well for the number 1 and number 2 seeds at the Masters to reach this stage. Well, they have Michael Smith and Peter Wright.
58. 134.
Yeah, a touch better from the world champ in this second leg.
Yes, he won't have been happy with the scoring in the first one. This one's better.
140. 78.
180 would have raised an eyebrow.
Oh, it's a blocker. You can see by his face.
38. Chris should require 140.
That last dart from Smith was thrown more in hope. Now, Dobey has been the master of the big finishes at the big moments, and he wasn't too far away with that first one.
92.
In all 3 games, he's won against Cullen, Humphries and Van Dijvenbode.
Shot, second leg.
1-1,
Third leg,
but he's
Chris
taken out
to
some big finishes, but all at key moments.
That 140 and the last one was incredible against Dirk.
140.
He won't be unduly perturbed, but maybe a touch concerned at the first dart, Michael Smith, where it's landing below the treble 20 bed.
58.
It's been rapid rise and fantastic progress from Chris Dobey.
45.
Still a bit sloppy from Michael Smith.
95.
Just 140 so far from Smith. And that will continue. And here we are midway through leg 3. Where's his scoring gone? Left it on the practice board, it seems, for now.
100.
Almost feel like he needs to hit a max to just get him going.
58.
After every throw, he's almost raising his eyebrow.
Yep, nothing happening, averaging 83.
56.
Dobey hasn't played that well either. He's only averaging 90. But he's under no pressure whatsoever on his throw. And again, he drops woefully short with the first one. Good cover shot and a bit of pressure on Dobey, finally on his throw.
Certainly made sure of that one. Pretty high. Nearly at double top.
He's going to have to go over the top.
28. Michael requires 74.
This will be a steal. Double 10.
Game show.
And it is a steal, but he won't be too worried about that. Michael Smith, 74, 2 darts. Pitches the lead
was never in the leg, was he? Until the end.
97.
And the first dart, the radar is off.
He's been lucky that his cover shooting has been pretty decent.
140.
That's better.
125.
140 and 125 and 6 tons.
140.
Back-to-back 140s from Dobey.
Standard starting to rise.
140.
Michael Smith, of course, lost another of the finals. He lost the Masters in 2020. 11-10 to Peter Wright. Missed 3 match darts, didn't he? That was one that really hurt him.
Yeah, that was cruel.
87.
Had the chance though. Good setup from Dobey. Michael Smith.
38.
Yep, Dobey doing to Smith what Smith did to Dobey. Pressure,
Game shown the
but he wins it anyway. 3 consecutive legs for the world champion.
Yeah.
Big leg this for Dobey, Alan.
Yeah, and he's done it without really hitting the heights. So that'll please him in that circumstance, because he hasn't got his scoring, certainly not consistently. Just signs in the last leg or so. He's starting to find it.
Dobey also not happy with his first dart.
Easy.
Happier with his last one. All over the place.
Well, he's lost the last 3 legs. Great chance now to win at the break 3-2. His first max. First one of this one.
Why not?
There's the second.
Require 140.
That's always a risk. He went the ball.
Which you require 56.
I think he was looking for ball, wasn't he? Big darts for Dobey. No problem. So an intriguing opening session between Michael Smith and Chris Dobey. Not the best in terms of quality, but one break of throw has the world champ in front. 11 to reach the final. Smith leads 3-2. At the Masters 2023 here in Milton Keynes, Michael Smith with the edge only just over Chris Dobey.
Game on!
Bidding to be the first man through to the final against either Peter Wright or Rob Cross.
100.
It's been okay. That's as good as you can say so far, but it will get better, I'm sure.
140.
Yeah, certainly needs to get good in terms of the scoring. That's better.
140.
Both got a maximum in the last leg before the break.
$135. $91.
Yeah, knew what he was doing, because look what he's left. To be fair, Michael Smith is one of the best counters in the world. One of the best counters.
And one of the quickest.
130.
He makes it look so easy, doesn't he? It was just so nonplussed. And he's left 40 after 12 to extend his lead.
57.
Just put a lot of work in.
Require 40.
Very big practicer, Michael Smith.
Game showing the 6th leg. Michael Smith.
Now got a 2-leg cushion.
First. Game on.
Just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, counting for darts players, it comes easy to some and not so easy for others.
180.
You know about Jose, by the way?
45.
He admits it, doesn't he? He says he's terrible sometimes. His mind just goes blank.
Were you okay?
Yes, very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
140.
It's just I guess it's just the counting part. It just becomes second nature. You don't even have to think about it.
58.
It's an advantage as well because you're not stopped in your tracks as Michael.
Yeah.
Such a fast, fluent player. Doesn't have to
60.
think about it.
Chris, you require 167.
Just starting to get better. Both in the mid-90s on the averages.
95.
Yeah, a bit iffy.
Chris,
Michael
you require
Smith.
77.
Chris Dobey actually is scoring better. Tops for 4-3.
Game shown, the 7th leg. Chris Dobey, 8th leg, Michael with 3-4.
Always fills you full of confidence when you hit the double with the first dart. It really does.
55.
Chance for Dobey. He's finding that red bit much more regularly than
97.
Michael Smith at the moment.
One runner, 40.
It's better after the leg start on 55.
But that's perfect for Dobey. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't get 140. Yeah, you can see.
Surprised he stayed down there with the last one. Looked like it was blocked.
Yeah. If you're gonna go down there at this stage in a leg, you've got to hit it.
One runner, 40.
Dobey with a chance to break back here.
Open bed for Smith. He's moved, but he still hit the treble 19. Brilliant.
That's why he's one of the very best. A really poor leg, but then a majestic visit.
72. Chris, you require 118.
Well, that's a chance missed because there were 4 brilliant darts. The 177 followed by the treble 16, then 2 darts missed. And this could be a magnificent steal.
Game shot in the 8th leg.
Oh, absolutely brilliant from Chris Dobey.
Chris to throw first.
He didn't expect the chance, but when it arrived, he was there to take it.
Well, Smith will be livid. Dobey will be delighted.
Fulton.
And you've got to say, Dobey's the better player at the moment.
81.
Fantastic finish on double 19 from Chris Dobey. Smith missing 2 darts at double 12 for 5-3.
95.
And when we look back at the match later, Stuart, we'll maybe see the significance of
93.
what happened there.
I've made a note, Alan.
$42. One runner, 40.
Mad at himself not hitting a maximum.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 disappointing visits for Dobey, giving Smith an opportunity, but he's not taking it.
43.
Terrible dart from the world champion. My, oh my, he was only 20 behind with 3 in his hand.
Yes, a definite error there.
And let off for Dobey.
60.
9 darts without a big treble from Dobey. Now that was a deflection.
122. Christian requirement.
They've just taken out 119. 107 should be no problem at all.
Well, the shot's on. 18.
His finishing has been brilliant.
75.
It was close,
Michael, you require 22.
but it wasn't in.
Game shot in the ninth leg.
And that one is last dart in hand.
10th leg, Michael to throw first. Game on.
It's one of those, isn't it? One to you, one to me. Break of throw, break of throw. Can Smith hold here to go ahead at the second break?
45.
Look at that. He's averaging 91 and he's ahead. I suppose that's all that matters, but Chris Dobey is coming back at once more.
Yes, there's some real quality here.
97.
We seem to be littered with errors here and there. From both players, it has to be said, but more from Michael.
We've had the good, the bad and the ugly.
97.
I'm not just talking about the commentary box. Smith would love a 140.
140.
If he can jog himself through this leg and win this one and going at the break 6-4, he won't be happy with the way he's performed, but he'll be happy with the scoreline.
94.
Good dart from Dobey.
97. Christian require 170.
Not to be.
134.
Wonderful cover shooting though. Reach double 18. He gets it. He needs the ball.
83.
Looks like big 5
Christian
all.
require 36.
And Dobey deserves the chance.
Game shot.
It is 5 all.
Chris Dobey.
Well, this semi-final is locked. It's break of throw, break of throw, break of throw, break of throw. And it's all to play for. The world champ needs to pick his game up. Chris Dobey is giving him a real run for his money. 5 apiece in the Masters semi-final.
To throw first. Game on.
To reach a first big final. We shall see.
I suppose on reflection of the 10 legs, 5 apiece is probably about right, you would think. Neither player has been dominant.
96. I
feel as well that the crowd know how important it is, and perhaps just waiting for some magic from the stage to get them going.
58.
There's nothing magic about these darts.
No, he's certainly not happy. Look to the heavens at one moment there.
134. $41.
Wow.
Normally after
Dobey is about where he has been the whole tournament.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, normally after a break, you sort of reflect on everything and really get yourself going because they're up on stage early, practicing away.
156.
And then his scoring has just let him down again.
What a chance for Chris Dobey against a wayward world champion.
$41.
Wow, this is painful for Michael Smith.
$34.
Look where he is. It's back on 209 after 15 darts thrown. Well, go figure. It could all be academic.
32.
Oh, crazy game.
Yeah. Ooh. This would be a fantastic dart. And it was
16.
unlucky.
Well, despite that poor scoring, hit a maximum to leave 29. He's got 2 darts and a double to steal the leg.
Game champion.
That is an unbelievable steal. In 21 darts, he was on 209 after 15 darts thrown, but then the most unlikely maximum that you're likely to see all weekend.
57.
But still having trouble. Look at that, 57.
Well, he threw for the maximum because he didn't expect another throw.
Exactly. But you never know.
97.
No rhythm, no radar.
What he has to remember is ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all that matters.
He's not 7-3 down and struggling.
You remember at the World Championship in the quarterfinals against Stephen Bunting, he was way off the pace. I think he ended up averaging just 91, and Bunting missed a stack of chances.
57.
But Smith was the winner. Averages matter not a jot if you reach that magic number and win the game.
Yeah, crucially on doubles, it's, you know, we've seen both players miss. It's about keeping your composure at the right time to take it. He had his chance and he took it. That's why he's 6-5 ahead. They'll soon be 7-5.
88. Which should require 155.
I was going to say, Dobey needs one of his huge finishes. But it's always worth keeping going against Smith in this mood.
20. No score.
There you
See
go.
what I mean?
Which should require
See what I mean?
Well, both players are guilty of it.
Game show on the 12th leg.
Probably about right, isn't it?
13th leg.
Dobey missed 3 for 6-5. Smith stole it. Smith misses 3 to go 7-5 up, and Dobey steals it.
Yeah, it's certainly not being advantageous to any particular player as Dobey hits another maximum. Just needs somebody to take the bull by the horns. Would it be Bully Boy?
Well, that's a big leg. Smith averaging 89. Should have been 7-5 up. But you've got to give credit to Dobey, and that's what I said before it all
58.
unfolded in that leg. You just never know. That leg for Dobey was unexpected as it was for Smith the leg before.
2 perfect examples.
47.
One went against and one went for either player.
85. Which should require 134.
Treble 18, a lead tops.
94.
Nicely picked out.
So
128.
a chance for Dobey here to go ahead for the very first time since the very first leg.
Game show on the 13th leg. Chris Dobey, 14th leg. Michael the Fruitful. 100.
It's very odd seeing Michael Smith play like this when you've been used to, certainly in recent months, seeing him play a lot better. And this is Dobey's day. It's got to be Dobey's day. He's got to be thinking, this is my day, this is my chance.
He's absolutely feeding off it, Stuart. I'm totally with you on that one. Michael's just got frustrated, really.
If Dobey doesn't seize the moment here, he will be absolutely
29.
devastated. Never have a better chance, you feel, the way his opponent is playing, of reaching a big TV
21.
final.
Well, they started the leg with a Max Dobey. Still a long way behind in it. Probably needs another one. At least a 140 to leave the finish.
140. We require 146. $78. Which require 152.
This is a nice one. This is a very nice one. It could be a very, very, very nice one.
36.
Well, 2 precision darts there.
Requires
And
68.
then a wayward one at the double.
48. Which requires 16.
But he was nowhere near. Michael Smith averaging 89. Chris Dobey, you have to take this chance if you want to give yourself an opportunity.
I don't think even he can believe that second dart, but he'll love the third one.
Chris Dobey. 15th leg, Chris the throw
It's 3
first.
legs on the spin. It's 2 breaks of throw. And Chris Dobey is 3 legs away from the biggest win of his career.
81.
But this is, well, this is drama. The drama added to by the fact that Michael Smith
57.
is playing like this. But it happens. He's trying so hard.
Yes, it's a couple of times it's happened and he's got away with it, but he doesn't seem to be on this occasion. Almost seems to need to get that 1 solid or 2 solid legs on the spin to get him going. Get him going. We're in the 15th leg.
I can't remember the last time Michael Smith played like this in a big TV event.
100.
But it happens.
Chris, you require 80.
To say it happens, absolutely nothing is happening for the world champion. Is this 4 consecutive legs?
40.
Big leg was leg 12. Michael Smith stole leg 11 from Chris
64.
Dobey and had 3 darts
Chris,
at
you
double
require
10 for 7-5, and since then it's been one-way traffic.
Game showing
And it continues to be one-way traffic. Chris Dobey can hardly believe his luck. The world champion is averaging 88. He's been poor, very poor. But Dobey is beating what's in front of him. And he's beating him well. 9-6, 2 away from a big, big moment in his career. About to witness a huge upset in the semi-finals of the Masters. The world champion and world #1 Michael Smith is way off the mark, averaging 88, and he's losing 9-6 against an opponent who's not at his best, but he's doing what he needs to do, and that's all Chris Dobey has to do now. He's 2 legs away from reaching his first big TV final, and it goes from bad to worse for Smith. It's all very puzzling. Just explain, because you'll have gone through it yourself, how this can happen.
131.
Well, apart from the scoreline, he's obviously frustrated with his game because he's not scoring anything near like what he used to. Maybe hit it, yeah, there's a maximum. That'll make him feel better, but he wasn't doing it on a regular basis. It wasn't the scoreline because he was frustrated while he was ahead. So it has to be by the fact that he knew he wasn't playing well. And now that's been increased by the fact that he's losing 9-6.
There you go. Not a lot, followed by 180, followed by not very much. Dobey's just got to keep his head together now. Just 2 more legs.
100.
Just 2 more legs. Just 2 more holes of throw. That's what he'll be telling himself, I'm sure.
100.
go, 2 180s. And what was the other one?
40 odd and 50 odd.
96. What will you require? 57.
Needs to cleanly
Game show on the
hit double
16th
top,
leg.
which he does.
Michael Smith,
Now he's got to
17th
break,
leg.
then he's got to hold, then he's got to break. Then he's got to hold. The only holding Doby has to do is to hold his head together.
93.
Keep his cool, keep his concentration, keep his belief.
56.
Cover shooting not there either.
He's keeping everything, doesn't he?
140.
Relentless scoring
100.
from Doby.
Chris, you require
Well finished for Michael.
128.
It's in Doby's hands. What a moment this could be in the career of young Chris Doby.
85.
And is he
Chris,
throwing
you
the
require
Premier League
24.
permutations
Stop
out
it.
of the basket?
Stop it, Stuart.
Game
He
show,
might be,
17th
because
leg.
he's 10,
Chris
7
Doby,
up,
18th leg.
and he
Michael
needs
to
one
throw
more for a
first.
place in the
Game
final.
on.
The last 2 years, the winner of the Masters, Johnny Clayton, Joe Cullen,
97.
have been rewarded with Premier League spots. But for Doby at the moment, the only thing that matters is one more leg. One more big leg of darts for the biggest win of your life.
Well, he's in full gear.
100.
Michael Smith's first 3 darts just haven't been good enough, and that's normally where he sees off his opponents. He starts legs so well.
134.
2 big visits from Doby against the throw, but back comes Michael Smith. Well, there's some small signs here, but is it too late?
Oh, what a response. This is fantastic from Doby.
140.
Doby himself has left 87 after 9. Double 11 for Smith to stay in it.
102. Chris, you require 87.
Well, he's woken up in this leg, but it might not be enough. 1 dart at the ball.
55.
Well, it's a good lead. He's left double 16.
Score.
Well, those 3 darts summing up Michael
Chris, you
Smith's
require
performance.
32.
Chris Doby for the biggest win of his life.
Game.
And there
shot.
it is. Chris Doby
Chris
has
Doby.
reached his first big TV final. Wow, he's beaten Cullen, Humphries, Van Dijvenbode and Michael Smith. Yes, Michael Smith was way off it. A terrible performance, you'd have to say, by his high standards from the world champ. But Doby won't care a job because he was superb. He's got the job done. And Chris Doby is in the Masters final. He'll play Rob Cross or Peter Wright. That is on the way.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second semi-final of the Cazoo Masters, brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. Coming to you live on ITV Sport from the Marshall Arena here in Milton Keynes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the players. Would you please welcome from England, a two-time European champion, the winner of the World Match Play, and the former champion of the world voltage, Rob Cross. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Time to meet Scotland's two-time World Cup champion, the winner of the World Match Play, the winner of the Masters, and a two-time champion of the world. Let's get this party started. Snake Boy, Peter.
So the world number 1 is out. The world number 21 is through to tonight's Masters final. Let's find out who joins Chris Dobey in it with Chris Mason and John Rawling.
Thank you, Jackie. Well, there's no question that the standout performance of the weekend was Rob Cross 112.32 in beating Gary Anderson 10-6. But Peter Wright is a man in form. He won the Nordic Masters and here a couple of wins against Dave Chisnall, Johnny Clayton, and he's averaging around the 101 mark, and he says without throwing anywhere near his best. And it's a sign of a player who's playing well when he can score as well as that, when he's not really in the best of form. Rob Cross, well, he's the outsider as far as the bookies are concerned, although there's not much between them. It's almost a pick-em sort of field, pretty much similar odds. Last year he lost to Jose de Souza in the last 16. This time, though, it's better. First time to the last 4, now looking to get to the final. And he had wins against Gary Anderson and against Michael van Gerwen. And importantly, Chris, he's doubled and finished really well.
Yeah, he's been solid, hasn't he? 103.28, the tournament average for Rob Cross. Averaged, as you mentioned, that stratospheric 112.32 in defeating Gary Anderson, who himself averaged a monstrous average of 111.17. Averaged 96 against MVG, which is enough despite Michael averaging 99. But the finishing stats are outstanding for both. 20 from 36 for Cross, 56%. 20 from 40 for Peter Wright, 50%.
Not too much between them in previous meetings. 13 wins for Peter, 15 for Rob, and a couple of draws on TV. 6 wins, Peter, 2 draws and 7 for Rob. Last time they met was in Bahrain, in the Bahrain Darts Masters. Rob Cross won a tight match, 6-5. Last time they met in a major was in the Grand Prix in 2021, and on that occasion as well, it was Rob who emerged victorious.
Yeah, 2-0, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it's very much is a pick-em game for me, especially with the way Rob Cross has performed so far, and he is playing with a lot of freedom. I've never known him be more relaxed, and it's working.
Chris Dobey into a final. He's going to be playing the winner of this one, and there's the first maximum of the match.
Well, yeah, congratulations to Chris Dobey, of course, for reaching the final. And the little bonus of also securing his Grand Slam place nice and early in the year.
And if he were to win this evening, I wonder if Chris Dobey might also secure a Premier League place. Very, very much a possibility. That's what Joe Cullen did last year.
What Johnny Clayton did the year before him, and Johnny Clayton, of course, went on to win it. Joe Cullen was a dart away from winning it.
146. Can't be done now, just the wrong side of the wire. A wry smile regarding him. That's not so clever.
Peter, you require 41.
So 41 on throw for Peter Wright.
And
he gets there, only just with that big setup score, isn't it? But he gets there with a 14-darter. 1-0 Peter Wright.
Very comfortable hold of throw.
$121.
Speaking to Jackie at the top of the show, I suggested that Dobey may have to find 5 points on his tournament average to get past Michael
100.
Smith, who was averaging 100 going into that match. Incredibly, Michael dropped 10 points off his average, and Dobey maintained.
It was one of those mystifying ones, isn't it?
I wonder if there's too much. I mean, they are very, very good friends. You often wonder if there's a bit too much respect.
Could have been an element of that, you know, lacking the competitive edge, maybe. Michael not quite wanting to bury his old buddy quite as much as he would one or two others.
Must have been why Phil was always so nice to me.
Yeah, Christmas cards from Phil Taylor.
140.
Moving swiftly on. Cross on a finish. He'll want to quickly establish himself in this long format, of course. First to
100.
First to 11 to claim a place in the final, but you don't want to be surrendering an early advantage. And that's a good dart. Double 16 for one apiece. Lovely.
Well, in all the matches today, it was the first player that really kicked at whatever stage of the matches that gapped the opponents, that managed to just fend them off.
100.
I say, Phil, here, if one of the players got a bit of a move on, it'd be hard to chase them down.
So many people in the crowd who come along to these events hoping to be famous for just a second or two. You get your chance. If you look sufficiently ludicrous, you'll be there.
There's been more fabulous fancy dress. I'm not talking about Peter Wright.
Though if the cap fits, have to be quite a big cap, wouldn't it, to get that hair underneath it?
134.
Cross starting to pressure the right throw here.
I don't recall seeing Rob Cross, well, certainly not in a televised event that I've been involved in. I don't recall Rob Cross ever throwing better than he did against Gary Anderson.
No, it was his highest ever TV average by around 5 points.
97. Peter, 161.
If he replicates anything like that, Peter Wright is in for a real struggle here.
I know it's early, but he is doing just that, John.
Well, he's got a crack hit it here with this 136 for first break of the match. Great dart. Oh. But it's a nice setup. So now Wright, knowing that Cross is poised, has got to get this.
He was so good at that in that match against
Full flag, Rob
Johnny
to
Clayton,
throw
the
first.
combination finishing.
Game on.
It's beautiful.
Second 14 darter. Rob Cross won his leg in 12. That's indicative of a pretty tasty match so far.
140.
The last one, the first semi-final, kind of spluttered along, didn't it? It didn't really take off, but signs that this one certainly could do precisely that, with Peter Wright peppering the treble here and putting his average up to 108. Rob Cross is averaging nearly 115.
Yeah, I thought Dobie played solid enough. We just expect so much from Michael Smith.
59.
It just didn't happen for him. Anything around 95 is super competitive.
140.
Right, with the only maximum of this match so far.
Back to back.
I can't spake. Now, who's it who said that?
Well, I do believe it was something to do with rugby initially, but yeah, that wonderful commentary in the final of the Worlds by Wayne Mardle.
The last words he said before going mute.
And he actually did lose his voice, bizarrely.
But if you're going to lose your voice.
What a way to do it.
What a great way to do it, and what a great piece of television sport that was.
Yeah, it'll go down
fabulous leg.
Darts broadcasting folklore, wouldn't it? It was brilliant.
Well, that's a tremendous visit, but Peter Wright, 161. He's got first dips at a checkout. Can't do it now, though. Wrong side of the wire.
95. Robbie requires 72.
72.
Well, not had a double missed so far, have we, John? 2 from 2 for Wright, 1 from 1 for Cross. Can we continue?
It's a lovely adjustment. Used that first dart. Looking out to somebody in the VIP area who'd be supporting him.
Rab Bain, I would have thought. He's there with good friend Jim Walker.
140.
Rob Bain being Rob Cross's manager.
Sure is.
Involved in darts one way or another now, around for many a year.
Looked after me for many years.
Still likes you.
I know. Incredibly.
140.
Really good standard in this opening session.
Stunning,
break at the end of this leg.
Both players around the 110. Well, with that, Cross bumps it to 114. I'd love to get a break, especially just before the break, John.
Well, phenomenal standard of darts, isn't it? And he's got a chance now, because 161's a big ask. If Cross can make big inroads into this 181, he'll be the favourite. Lovely switch.
96.
Follow it. Still left himself a bit to do on 85. May only get one dart at a ball. May not get a dart at anything.
Oh, hello, hello. What about that? Peter Wright is here, he means business, and Rob Cross says, well played, sir. The pair of them there produced tremendous darts. Cross, an average of 113.5. Wright, 109.92. That 161 checkout. How about that? And he leads at the first interval, 3-2. Great to see.
Legs. And only 40 darts for Peter Wright to win his 3. So just 67 darts used in total in that opening mini session. Only one dart missed at a double, but didn't affect the outcome of the leg for Cross as he hit double 6 on that 72 with his third dart. 180 apiece, 10 140s between them. This is special.
Yep, it all adds up to everything that you hope a semi-final is going to be. We liked the look of this one and thought there was not going to be a lot between them. Peter Wright delighted to get that. He gave us the big smile, and hammered on the window of our commentary box on his way out from the arena, and he looked a very happy boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Rightfully so after that 1-6-1. That was,
60.
I mean, Bob Cross was on 85 after 9, waiting, thinking, right, I'm going to get a break of throw here. But the one feature, despite Peter Wright averaging in excess of 101 in both of his matches, but there was a little fade in both of them, wasn't there?
There was. Yep, and he was aware of that when he spoke to Ned after the second win against Johnny Clayton. You know, Ned kind of suggested, oh, you're doing okay, you know, you've moved on from the first one, another win in the bag, and he was kind of, well, not exactly tetchy, but he was just saying, yeah, I didn't throw particularly well though, did I? And I didn't throw well in the first, and I've come back with another 101 average.
Yeah.
Rob Cross, second 180. Nicely onto a finish.
100. Robbie requires 164.
Favourite to hold his throw here. Doesn't necessarily have to go for bull, of course, because Wright's a long way back. Well, he won't do now.
132. 54. Robbie requires 32.
Double 16 for Rob Cross. Square it up again.
And had a break of throw thus far. And when you've got players producing darts of this quality, there rarely is. Well, we asked the question, could he perform at that level that he did produce against Gary Anderson? And he's pretty much replicating that right now.
Yeah, in terms of point scoring,
yep,
he's got the advantage.
42.
That doesn't help. I'm just drifting into treble one. I always like to see matches between players. I know you said that arguably Michael Smith and Chris Dobey too much friends, but you like to see a match played in good spirit, don't you? And it's clear that there's a lot of respect between these two.
Yeah, they acknowledge
97.
the quality when it's there, which is nice.
54.
Are we seeing Peter Wright just going maybe off the boil just a little bit here, I wonder? If he is, Rob Cross will be the first to sense it.
100.
Right, well, he's averaging exactly what his tournament average is here, but that's a bit of a fade back from where he was. He was at 110 nearly at the end of those first 5 legs, so he's sinking
100.
a wee bit. Still keeping his nose ahead, though, in this leg.
Should be 18s. Ooh, no, that's awkward.
42.
Yeah. Wasn't nice.
126.
He'd normally go 19s, but is
Yeah.
he going to go up to the top of the board?
Yeah, well, he's no intention of going for the ball anyway. Maybe on a combination like that.
Oh,
That would have been pretty.
that would have been
180.
absolute exhibition stuff if he'd taken that.
Normally it would have been
41.
full 19s and
Really
ball,
require
but
8.
no point going for the 19s to lead ball if you're not going to go for it.
He has been known to take out 1, 2,
He's
1
on the seven
ball, treble
leg.
7
Peter
ball.
Wright.
Yes. Yes,
As you would.
he
Hey, flag roll,
attempted
two
that, of
for
course.
reverse. Game on.
I don't know which match it was. Yeah, I've seen him do it on the Euro Tour. I think in his...
41.
Which match was it?
I'll leave you to agonise over that, and I'll try and keep an eye on this.
Dave Chisnell game.
140.
You can settle down now, Chris. That would have got to you for a long time. Cross's throw under a bit of pressure here.
I'd have been watching it back for the next half an hour.
140.
Well, this time it's Cross's throw under a little bit of pressure. Not now.
43. The boat's just left without Peter on it, missed it. As a result of that, nothing between them.
No, the players, of course, love playing this format. It's a format where you can play with a
100.
fair bit of freedom.
Stops the mini rot. Right there with Cross.
So I had a few ideas about this tournament, John.
55.
Not that I'll put them in writing and send them to Matt Poulter. I don't bother doing that. He just laughs at me.
Are you gonna tell the wider public, or?
Well, yeah.
Or are you just going to leave that hanging?
Well, I might start a campaign. Now, what I want is a Thursday night session. I know that costs several £100,000s, but there you go. 32 players, top 32 in the world, and sets and legs, but each set best of 3 legs like the original
95.
Masters format. And rank it. Maybe throw in £1 million worth of prize money while I'm spending obscene amounts of money.
While you're spending other people's money.
Requires 70.
Right, 70. Back to the here and now. This is to make the match level.
Maybe a Ferrari for a 9-darter or something.
Double 16 for 4 all. Great dart.
Through
it with real certainty.
Yeah, he was under it a little bit there, wasn't he?
Game on.
Well, the pair of them struggled a wee bit in that leg. Averages just coming down a tad. Rob, who was averaging 113 after 5 legs, now just under 102.
Yeah, but that drop-off since the break has been the same for Wright, hasn't it? He's now down to
85.
95.
But what we do still have is a match very much in the balance. Yeah, there's the statistical representation of that. You can see how they've fallen away after that first stage break.
Yep. I do like that. So you can actually, you can try and paint the picture, but when you can see it there in front of your eyes, you can actually see how much
60.
of a drop or a drop off for the players it's been.
Like Paul Nicholson.
So I was going to say, look, my pal Paul there.
Sure.
100.
Giving it the full
Busman's holiday.
He wouldn't give it the full dark glasses stuff if he was sitting in the crowd, surely.
$54.
It really has become a little bit becalmed here. Peter Wright trying to inject some pace, and does with his second maximum. Treble 20 could do with, and he gets it.
132, video across 64.
16 for double 16 for 5-4.
32, Robbie require 170.
We've got a maximum in the leg from Wright. Can we have a maximum finish from Cross?
Not this time.
58. PD requires 32.
Didn't expect Wright to miss. And he doesn't. But we've got a real key leg coming up here, John.
Yeah, this is big. Break at the end of this one. Both of them have struggled a bit in this little mini session. And well, you don't need me to articulate really too much about the significance of 6-4 as against 5 all.
Absolutely. It's just mentally what it does to you in that break where you just stew for those few minutes thinking about what could have been or what should have been.
Big deflection on that second dart.
99.
Just leaving himself a little vulnerable with just The one treble on each visit.
Good last dart. Cross go on the 18s here, Chris.
Made a real mess of that.
Well, that was not his best visit. Come on, snake bite. His fans are hoping. The 2020 champion beat Michael Smith in that final, I remember, 11-10. Michael missing 3 match darts. He was not happy afterwards.
Yes, it was one of those, wasn't it? During that time.
57.
That's now all forgotten.
Right, with a real opportunity of a break-up throw. That's an outstanding setup.
38.
Doesn't usually miss those, does he, with 3 darts in hand?
Nope.
5 out of 8 on his doubles to this point, Peter Wright. He just wants one more to be 6-4 up at the interval.
65. Video for 40.
That's a great setup, phenomenal from Cross.
But
But it makes no difference to Peter Wright, who finds the double and has the advantage. A wry smile on the face of Rob Cross as he leaves the stage. It's all a business-like look from Peter Wright as he leads 6-4. Shot from Rob Cross to leave him with a real chance in that last leg, but Peter Wright was not rattled, put away double top, and so leads 6-4, 3-2 in the first 5. And going from 3-2 now to 6-4, the standard, which was phenomenal for the first 5 legs, not quite replicated in the second 5, but Rob Cross, well, for the first time, just with a little bit to do. He's a breakdown. Peter Wright will have the darts when the action resumes.
11
And
flag,
Rob would
Peter
love to blast
first.
straight back at him.
Game on.
Two maximums apiece so far in the game.
Yeah, I would have expected a few more. 10 legs played.
57.
Really, for Cross, he's facing a bit of adversity. He pretty much dominated MVG from the off after leading 4-1, controlled the pace of the game so well, brought MVG pretty much to a standstill. And of course, against Gary, again, made such an incredible start and maintained the gap.
I just get this feeling this weekend that Peter Wright's kind of just gone under the radar slightly. And as ever, everybody
65.
talking about Michael Smith because it's his first big televised tournament since the World Championship. And because of his record, those 5 back-to-back titles, Michael van Gerwen, who actually went into this weekend as the favourite, and people are kind of forgotten about Peter a wee bit.
Yeah, especially on the day, of course, where Rob Cross produced that average. The talking point was very much like that. You've had Chris Dobey, who, of course, is awaiting the winner of this one in the final. And, yeah, I agree.
100.
And he had such a lean year for him in 2022, but picking up that title in Copenhagen has just given him some much-needed confidence. And to be honest, in terms of the
140
mechanical element of his throw, it looks absolutely brilliant to me.
Tops, this is for a 14-darter, double 10. He thought that was in. It is now 7-4.
Peter Wright, 12 flag, Rob
Had the break and building on it with a really solid hold of throw.
Yeah, another quality lag.
134.
Both players pretty much, well, 98.3 Wright, 98.5 Cross. Cross has been reduced just to 5 darts at a double and has hit 4 of them. He's not creating enough opportunities, John.
That stat kind of is just a tiny bit misleading on the averages, isn't it? Because Rob Cross was significantly ahead in the averages in the early stages, so to actually get back to something like parity, or indeed at the moment slightly less than Peter Wright, kind of indicates the way that he's fallen away.
Yeah. Well, he's taken 15 points off of his average in 6 legs.
58. $81.
His throws under pressure again.
Yeah, needs a 2 treble visit.
$64.
Well, the thinking was right, but the execution not quite. Ton 40 needed.
Just about to say, quite happily take a ton
39.
here, but that has really opened the door for Rob Cross to secure a much-needed hold of throw.
Badly needs it. It's not the treble he needed.
He's lost 4 of the last 5 legs.
101.
This would hurt.
Treble 19 for double 12.
69. Rob, you require 40.
Pretty imperative that Rob Cross gets this to stop the rot. Only needs 11 to win the match, Peter Wright. If he goes to 8, that's a good dart. Badly needed.
Peter to throw first. Game on.
I always mention it, but these type of tournaments are as much
60.
your endurance capabilities as ability. Yeah, I've got to manage your downtime and rest as much as possible in the 3 days.
100.
Or 2 in the case of the seeds. But it's a lot of darts, long format.
140.
Sometimes we often see a final which can be narrowed down to who makes the fewer mistakes.
Who's going to be the more solid through the entire duration of the match?
23.
2 great darts for Rob Cross. Needs the break back.
83.
In 100 time for a ton 40 here for Rob.
Never a bad time.
140.
So 138 for a break of
Rob,
throw.
you require 138.
Is he going to go the 18 route? I think he is. There's one of them. Treble 16 would leave double 18. He's got that as well. This could be spectacular.
102.
Well,
Peter require
unless
160.
Peter Wright can produce a Chris Dobie-esque type finish, Cross will be back, and as we know, loves a double 18.
36.
To go within 1 of Peter Wright.
He's unlikely to miss this, you would think, but there you go. Double 9. Now it's a little bit of a pickle.
28. Peter, you require 115.
Yes, that double 9, you don't particularly want to burn a dart by trying to put a marker out there, but you go aggressive and you're left with 9, and there's no
99.
double 4.5, I'm afraid.
8.
Double 4. Trying again. Needs to take it now with Wright on 16. 64% on his doubles, Peter Wright. Rob Cross has been good as well, though, and my goodness, he needed that. Break of throw.
Flag, Rob to throw first. Game on.
Seen a little dip here from Peter Wright this time. They were dragging each other upward. Now they seem to be dragging each other down.
96.
And the averages are still outstanding, but they were seriously good in that first session.
57.
One more break comes after 15 legs.
140.
Sort of hit a brick wall in these type of matches where you do feel that fatigue, and you sort of, I suppose it's like a marathon runner. You tend to hit a brick wall and you run through it. And this is a brilliant leg to level things up. Down to 132 after 9. Depending on what happens here, well, he's going to have to go ball.
132.
Real showbiz shot.
Treble 19. Now the bull again. It's slightly blocked, I think, Chris.
I think it's totally masked.
He's thinking about going for a setup, I think, and just hoping that Peter Wright misses it, because he's going to have to go well wide, and that's exactly what he's done.
Yep.
Video require 164.
I don't mind that.
This would hurt him if he can do this.
Oh, wow.
Oh! It was nearly one of those take that, sir, moments.
Robbie require 32.
I don't think Robbie Williams could have hit the ball.
Good darts. Kept his composure and gets the leg he needed to put it level, and it's 7 apiece.
3 on the spin for Rob Cross. He'd love to go into the next break 8-7 up. And give Peter Wright something to think about.
121.
Good start, though. That doesn't give too much wriggle room for Rob Cross.
$60.
That's outstanding. This is times Peter Wright is looking back to the old vintage Peter Wright. Good match, this.
Oh, this is proper game of darts, isn't it? Both players have had 12 attempts at a double and hit 7, 58%.
85.
Averages are fairly similar.
Yep.
And it's 7 each. What more do you want?
What the game's lacked in maxes, made up for in 140s, there's been 25 of them.
No finish then for Peter Wright.
15.
Well, goodness me, that's given a little bit of a... That's got the 15 away. Which I suspect is what he's just said.
I think Sid used to call that a bag of nails.
Rob is not on to a finish.
100.
So 100. Could go tops, and that's one of them. Why not? Oh, just the wrong side of the wire.
62.
I'm going to say after the 15, it was an apt moment for the great Bobby George saying of schools for show, doubles for dough. He only had 2 of them for an 8-7 lead.
99. Peter
So
38.
now is he going to go 6-16 or straight at it? Straight at it. Why not? 8-8 now. And that is a confident dart. And Peter Wright gets the double he needs. It's on throw, and our last interval of the match, and it's still so much in the balance. Peter Wright ahead, but only just. Rob Cross will come back with the darts, with Wright leading 8-7. that's when the action resumes. Nothing between them really in the score, nothing between them in the averages, and precious little between them in the doubles, Chris.
16 flag,
No,
Rob
it's,
to
tight.
throw first.
It's pretty much as we
Game on.
expected when you looked at their numbers coming into the match. They were playing at very similar levels, which indicated a tight one, and that's exactly what we've got.
84.
Play to a winner now, of course. So the players can almost see the winning line.
91.
Now the match averages and the tournament averages, you can see just how close they are, particularly in the match.
99.
Well, they are dead level. Right, you can take that away now before it all starts to get a bit different. Take it, take it. There we go.
100.
That's why I'd never make a director.
With all them buttons, I don't think I'd want to be.
82.
Thanks.
They said as one, as Rob Cross has an opportunity to surge clear in this leg. An opportunity he's gratefully taking. Thank you very much.
180. Robbie required 56.
So 56 to get it dead level. Double 18.
He's on the 16th flag, Rob Cross. 70
Usually
flag.
serves
leader
him
to
well, that
Roy
double
first.
18, but not quite so much this evening, but that time nice enough.
Very nice hold of throw to level things up now.
95.
It's who blinks first.
Yeah, it's kind of a make my day punk sort of moment, isn't it?
57.
A little best of three for a place in the final. This is a £10,000 game of three as well. Winner of the match guaranteed 30. Winner of the final taking away 65.
And the loser of this just gets the 20. Still not bad, is it?
That's okay. I couldn't really spend the weekend working for that, but there you go.
100.
Yeah.
60.
Well, a little bit slow to settle here in this particular leg. But Cross still with an opportunity if he can get a big hit and get significantly clear. Well, he could have done with a treble with that last dart rather than the one, and you see exactly what he thought of that.
Yeah, real opportunity to pile the pressure on.
100.
Fourth maximum for snake bites.
What a time to get it. Exactly when he needed one.
Wright has to find a break
96.
at some point in the remaining legs if he's going to win this match. Well, 167
39.
now.
Robbie require 167.
Not had a massive check out for a while from Rob Cross. Had a big 161 earlier from Peter Wright, and it's not this time.
57. PD requires 72.
72 to inch him closer.
That would
52.
have taken him
Robbie
two
require
holds a throw away.
110.
from a chance to win the Masters again.
This is a massive visit for Rob.
Yeah, huge. This is maybe not numerically bigger than the 161, but in terms in the context of the match, this is huge.
Double 16, his biggest dart of the match. Yes, and he's nailed it. What a great dart. Peter Wright can only admire the precision of that.
Game on.
And it's Rob Cross now who has the advantage.
$100.
That one was a real body blow for Wrighty.
100.
He's going to have to show some serious resolve from here, trying to motivate himself.
Yeah, you can see him saying, come on, come on, come on.
$134.
Just been slightly reinvigorated.
$140. $140.
First on to a finish, Rob Cross. Peter Wright just trying to hang on in, and he can't get on a finish.
95, Robbie, 127.
And go within one here. Great darts, double 8. Oh, another superb checkout. What about that, Chris?
Well, just before the 110, you said we'd not had a big finish, and he pops in a 110 and backs it up with a 127. As you said, is now just one away from a match that, I'll have to be honest, didn't look like winning.
I promise you they can't hear us when we're commentating. You know, when I said it's quite a while since he's had a big checkout, and then he goes and gets two back-to-back. Rob Cross's doubles have been brilliant this evening. Scoring's not been too shabby, but look at that for checkouts. 67% on his doubles.
Yeah, over this course and distance, they are big, big numbers.
134.
Probably George and George Towers, or whatever he calls the place, he'll be sitting nodding away in his favourite armchair, won't he? See, I told you, scores for show.
100.
You wouldn't be saying it quite like that.
No. Although it is past 9 o'clock, isn't it?
125.
Rob Cross down to a very doable. Can he finish it off with a hat-trick of ton-plus outs?
160.
Staying away from the treble. Goes and gets the double, but never mind. He's on a double. Now then, for the match, Rob Cross. For 3 ton-plus checkouts on the spin.
Sometimes goes 18s, yeah, and
he's got the dart he wanted for double 18.
surely he can. 3 ton-pluses on the spin.
Not quite. It would have been a real salute from the crowd for some fabulous darts if he'd nailed that, but Peter Wright, double 10. That's a blocker. Look how wide he's having to go. Wow, what a dart.
Staggering. The amount of adjustment needed to not only get the line of fire right, but the weight of dart.
So now on throw after that sheer brilliance of Peter Wright.
You could see, John, how far right he went by the angle of entry of the dart.
I mean, in cricketing terms, he was somewhere over by cover point, wasn't he?
93.
Really, really wide on that hockey. That shows you how good these lads are, doesn't it? When they have a shot of that sort of difficulty.
Under that amount of pressure, it was to save the match.
As it is now, Cross needs to hold his throw. That's another maximum, number 5 for Wrighty. 5-3 on the maximums. Loose second dart.
85.
A glimmer of an opportunity for Peter Wright, 6 from here.
Their last meeting went to a deciding leg in Bahrain.
140.
Rob Cross won that one, 6-5. But it'll be advantage Peter Wright if he takes this, because he'll have the darts on what would be a decider if he can get 88.
100. Peter require 88.
So to keep the match alive. That is outstanding. An 11-dart leg at this stage of the match under that sort of pressure.
That's why he's a 2-time world champion.
And he's got the darts in the deciding leg.
21st and final leg, Peter, to throw first.
Any 11-darter is special. One that's thrown under that much pressure can only be applauded.
60.
Well, that leaves the door a wee bit ajar. If Cross can come thundering in here, he'll have a good early advantage.
He'll have a 4th max.
60.
No, both of them opening up just with 3 single 20s. Wouldn't be human if they weren't feeling it at this point.
Didn't want to mention it, but George Noble is on stage. And when a match goes to a last leg nowadays, it's referred to as a Noble because he seems to do more than anybody.
Well, that's a noble effort from Peter Wright. Terrific. His 6th maximum. And a great response. Wright's going to have the first. No, he isn't. I beg your pardon. Cross has got himself onto 161, so he'll have first chance.
Well, Peter Wright done him in leg 5 with a 161. Can he repay the favour?
This will raise the roof if he can do this. It's on. Treble 19 now. But it's not on anymore, so Peter Wright now.
93.
Tops needed to end this gripping match. Double 10. He's 10 out of 21 on his doubles. Double 5. Tension. And he misses.
Well, I think Cross had already put the darts down and had the hand extended.
68.
Treble 20, double 4.
He's got it. 2 darts in hand, double 4 needed. Double 2. I think he thought he'd got that. And what a dart!
And the match.
Rob Cross gets there.
Rob Cross.
It might not have been statistically the best, but I tell you what, that was a proper game of darts, Chris Mason.
Yeah, outstanding from both, and as we sort of predicted after the opening session, this could go to a decider, and it didn't disappoint.
I love that game. And we've got a real good final coming up for you. Chris Dobey for the first time in a televised final. And it looked as though he was going to be facing Peter Wright, but it was Rob Cross who got across the line. Great sportsmanship between the two. Excellent game of darts. Rob Cross takes it 11-10. How enjoyable was that?
A tantalising prospect brought to life by your commentary team, Alan Warner-Little and Stuart Pike.
Yes, thank you, Ned. Not many before a dart was thrown on Friday night at the 2023 Masters would have picked a Chris Dobey v Rob Cross final here in Milton Keynes. What an opportunity for both of them. It's been a fantastic performance so far from Dobey, Joe Cullen, Luke Humphries, Dirk van Dijvenbode and Michael Smith. Smith didn't play well in the semi-final. Chris Dobey did. And that's all that matters. For Rob Cross, drama as he first missed a match dart and then survived 3 match darts to win in a deciding leg against Peter Wright. A new winner, a new Masters champion, a new name on the trophy. And both players have beaten some top names to get to this final.
Yes, absolutely fabulous from both of these two players to get to this final. Rob Cross with the drama, that unbelievable average against Gary Anderson. Chris Dobey in his first major final. Can he do what Joe Cullen did last year?
Well, interesting, the last 2 years for the Masters final, first of all when Johnny Clayton played Mervyn King, and when Joe Cullen played Dave Chisnell, we've had word through from the powers that be at the PDC that the winner would take a place in the Premier League. No such word tonight. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest. And the official announcements of the Premier League 8 will be made on Monday. So no guarantees here for either Cross or for Dobey.
55.
And if Rob Cross will regret saying that he's not bothered, doesn't want to be in it, as he talked himself out of it. All will be revealed on Monday.
56.
Might be a double bluff. Take the pressure off himself.
Maybe.
You never know, do you? You never know. Players do play mind games with each other and themselves.
Well, that's for Monday. This is Sunday night in Milton Keynes.
60.
What a chance for, as I say, for both players, but for Chris Dobey in his first major final. Can he get over the line?
60.
Yeah, we get the message.
4 out of 10, see me.
57.
Rob Cross already won the World Championship, the World Match Play, 2 European Championship titles. Lost a stack of finals as well. Lost to the Players' Championship, didn't he, just a few short months ago. The UK Open, lost to the World Series final. But I wonder whether Rob Cross's experience of this big occasion will make a difference, or Dobey may be thinking, well, I'm playing with a free hand now and I'm going to enjoy it.
I think you're probably right with the last quote, but Rob Cross, you know, it's all right having the experience, but you have to still play well.
100.
If you're not playing well in the match, as we saw with Michael Smith, he just wasn't on form at all. The experience doesn't matter then.
$140. Chris, you require 66.
May look at treble 10 here. Tops for Dobey for the opener.
46. Rob, you
Well,
require
that'll concern him a
93.
little because he was nowhere near And Rob Cross has been cleaning up these finishes throughout the weekend. They've been key to his successful route to the final. Is he going to do it again?
Double 18, normally his favourite.
Chris, you require
not on
20.
this occasion.
Games from the first leg.
He may have taken him 20
Chris
darts.
Dobey. Second leg, we're up
But he
to
won't
the
care a
first.
jot.
Game on.
Chris Dobey is off and running in the final. It was a strange old semi-final, wasn't it, against Michael Smith?
100.
Can't remember the last time we saw in a big TV semi-final saw Michael Smith play so poorly, but Chris Dobey did what he had to do, and he did it very, very well.
58.
But to beat Cullen, Humphries, Van Dijvenbode and the world champion, you've got to be doing something right.
It certainly is. Not the best start for me, the
93.
player, but more importantly for Dobey, health throw. Who can build on that? Maybe challenge the cross throw very early in this final.
140.
Rob Cross has been checking out at around about 55, 56% in this tournament.
30.
Mentioned before about his finishing in the big moments of the big matches.
99.
Well, he's yet to get going. We always have that conversation, Stuart, after the semi-finals when we have that break. Who's more advantageous, playing first and having a break, or coming off and going straight back on?
It's interesting. It wasn't so long ago, maybe last year or the year before, so it won't have changed very much. We looked at the Masters and the UK Open Players Championship
64.
final, even the Grand Slam of darts, when there's two huge games played on the final day, and there's not much in it. I think it was about 51-49 in percentage terms that the guy who wins the first semi-final wins. So there isn't that much of a difference.
Yes, I always say it's down to each individual
43.
player, because if you ask
Chris, you
all, say the
require
top 16,
140.
you'd probably get 8 say first and 8 say second. It's all down to how you feel at that time. Oh, Dobey
Taking out this
here.
already, Chris Dobey.
120.
Good effort.
Rob, you require 152.
He nailed a brilliant 140 to deny Dirk Van Dijvenbode at a crucial stage of the quarter-final.
43. Chris, you
A
require
double 10
20.
to double his lead. Just have a look there to see what Cross was on.
Games from the
Just for a
second leg.
moment, he thought
Chris
of
Dobey.
splitting it.
Third leg, Chris.
But the
to
aggressive
first.
route
Game on.
reaps its reward. 2-0 to Dobey.
Yes, and to be fair, he hasn't had to pull out any trees, has he?
129.
Rob Cross yet to find his direction. That's better.
You look at that brilliant game against Anderson when he averaged 112.
180.
Until that, he was averaging 70 odd. But the 180 will give him hope. You just never know.
140.
Yeah, a long way to go. Race to 11. To the 2023 Kazoo Master.
60.
So despite the maximum from Cross, still advantage Dobey.
65.
Yeah, he's scoring himself, Dobey, isn't that high, but what he's doing is hitting one treble every visit, more or less. This is better.
180.
Well, two maximums.
Chris, you require 167.
In the leg. He needs a big treble here.
97.
He gets it.
Rob, you require 81.
It's either treble 12 and double 13, or it's single and the bull. Big dart already early on in this final.
56. Christy requires 70.
Well, he may have hit 2 180s in the leg, but he may lose it.
$38.
What a
Robbie
chance for Dobie that was.
25.
One miss for 3-0.
It was big chance to keep your opponent at bay.
Can't see Cross missing here.
Games from the third
And he
leg.
doesn't.
Rob Cross.
Bit of animation there.
Sure what all that was about.
Fourth leg, Rob to throw
Bit of
fifth.
gurning on the stage.
Game on.
Very odd faces, but
I think he was just trying to tell himself that he's not got up and running, but he's got a leg.
Yep.
And as you see by the expression there,
140.
just maybe needs to calm down just slightly.
yeah, both averaging 84 in the early stages. Very cagey in this Masters final.
96.
Two significant matches over the last few months between the two. First of all, last year at the World Match Play, you may remember, we'll just pause as Cross looks at a third maximum in the last 2 legs. At the World Match Play, Chris Dobie led 8-2, but bottled it, to use his own. They're his words, not
96.
mine. And eventually lost an astonishing game, 11-9. But revenge was sweet for Dobie at the Ali Pali just a month or so ago, beating Rob Cross 4 sets to 2.
Well, Cross has got a fantastic chance here. Could have been 3-0 down.
79.
Yeah,
Robbie require 85.
fine margins.
Great second down.
Double 8 to draw level.
Games from the fourth leg. Rob Cross.
A
Fifth
12
leg,
darter,
Christopher
3
Roses.
180s in the last couple of legs. Welcome to the final, Rob Cross.
Yes, the first 2 legs were
140.
very below par at best. He's dragged himself back into the match, 2-2. 3 180s in the last 2 legs, 2 good finishes.
60.
Must be said as well, it is very warm in the arena.
Extremely.
$100. $100.
Just steady away at the moment, isn't it? This first little session of the final.
Yeah, certainly not ignited yet, despite 3 maximums from Cross in the last
140.
couple of legs.
You just sense certainly that Rob Cross is settling down to the business in hand.
139.
Oh, good visit there to leave 62, hopefully going at the break, 3-2 ahead.
Do you remember your first big TV final? The nerves?
Oh, very nervous.
58. Christy requires 62.
Double 16.
Games from the
Well, there we
fifth
go.
leg.
We've had 5
Chris
legs.
Dobie.
As it turns out, despite a couple of breaks, we are on throw. And Chris Dobie, after winning the darts in the practice room, will be more than happy with that. Yes, he did have a dart for 3-0, but he goes in at the first break, leading in the final 3-2. Of of the 2023 Masters here in Milton Keynes. You could say two surprise finalists, but two very deserved finalists in Chris Dobey and Rob Cross. Dobey leads 3-2 in his first ever TV final. Rob Cross looking to add another title to his roll of honour. Cross will get us back underway. Both averaging around 89, both with much to improve on. But at the moment, Dobey with the edge, just.
93.
Yes, it's definitely been a slow burner, but it's all about the title and the trophy. I'm sure that'll improve in terms of
58.
quality as we progress through this final. Both players have been outstanding over the weekend.
Goes back to what I was asking you before about your first final and what it actually
100.
feels like. Imagine pretty similar to every player, you know, the thrill and the excitement. So what just gives an insight into where Dobey's head is.
99.
He will be 100% concentrating just on the game, forgetting about the trophy, the title, the prize money, what comes with it. He just wants to win on that stage against his opponent. That's all he'll be concentrating on. He knows he's playing well, that's important.
42.
Gets close towards the end.
Waiting for it to explode, aren't we?
Yeah, if it gets close towards the end, that's when you mentioned
60.
about the experience earlier on.
Yeah.
But experience is no good if you're behind. So the pressure pop moments.
140.
Well, the way they're playing, it's there for the taking for one of them. Just 3 or 4 good legs.
96.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of 15s or 14s even. It's there for the taking. Another one of those. Just checking it's in. 6.
Come on, Rob.
Games on the 6th leg.
In off the post.
Rob
But it's 3 all.
7th leg, Christopher first.
And it's a good one.
He's very animated, Rob, isn't he?
140.
Sending messages somewhere.
Yeah, we've seen some odd reaction. But 3 all it is.
$97.
Cross has been there or thereabouts, hasn't
100.
he? He has won 4 big titles in his career. And he's done what so many players will never do, and that's be world champion.
100.
And he's 4-0 on the 180s, and he's given himself a chance here maybe to take Dobey's throw, but not a bit of it as Dobey hits back with his first. This is more like it, boys.
Oh, brilliant from both players. The crowd love it, we love it. Got to look at leaving something here. That's a good cover shot.
134. Christian McQuire, 81.
Well, best leg of the match. Both had 9 darts. Dobey may only get a dart at the bull.
56.
Cross may only get a dart at the bull. Let's see.
Robbie McQuire, 90.
Will he back himself and go for treble 18 to leave his favourite double 18?
I think you might be right. So he'll now have to go double-double. Well, actually, he went for the treble 20 for double 6. And
58.
it may be because of the first dart, the way it was lying, he didn't have a clear path through to the double 18. But it's double 8 for Dobey. Yeah, that's awkward. Very awkward.
9.
Couldn't find a way past it, Stu.
Robbie McQuire, 32.
So to go ahead with a break of throw. And this would be to go ahead for the first time in the final. Would you believe it? A man who's been finishing at around 55% throughout the tournament. A real let-off for Chris Dobey.
Games from the 7th leg.
But he'll take it.
8th leg, Rob to throw first. Game on.
Well, he earned the right to have the first pop at double. He missed it, but was able to return. Big moment so far
57
in this final.
You say however well he played against Gary Anderson, has played well again today. He's got to the final. I just wonder whether he's...
69.
He may have hit a brick wall. That was a key leg, wasn't it? Crucial leg. Deserves a red asterisk in the notebook. Leg 7.
60.
Will it be crucial to the outcome?
Yeah, certainly the moment so far. Sure there'll be more. Chris Dobey looking at breaking Rob Cross here after getting away with the last leg. Powers in a max.
This is more like it from both of them.
It's definitely getting better in quality. Still little bits of drama as we saw in that last leg 56. On the double. That can also happen. I saw that in the semi-final. Cross and Peter Wright. Incredible.
Well, Peter Wright will...
96.
Well, he'd be back in his hotel room or in the car on the way home thinking, how on earth, literally, how on earth am I not here playing the final? But that's the way it goes. And despite the maximum from Dobey in this leg,
36. Robbie require 148.
Cross's favourites are level once more.
He's not making a good attempt at it so far.
48.
Do you know what, Alan? The way that this is mapping out, a run of just 3, maybe 3 legs on the spin, might just be enough.
75.
One of them, just to find a bit of spark, a bit of pizzazz.
Yes, nobody can take a proper grip, really. There's been some good moments, some tense moments, some poor scoring from both.
60. Chris, you require 85.
Well, what a chance this is for Dobey. Long way off. Got to refocus.
71.
And another chance. That was a really good chance for Dobey.
Robbie require 40.
He's missed 11 darts at double. Cross has missed 7 darts at double. The story of the finals so far. Wow. That's remarkable.
I
mean, those first 2 darts were, well, quite frankly,
first. Game on.
Awful. But that wasn't.
Well, that was incredible, really. I mean, it's not his normal favourite double tops.
140.
So far away, it was incredible. And to be able to adjust with that last dart in his hand, otherwise Chris Dobey could have gone 5-3 ahead.
Well, he probably should have been 5-3 ahead. But we're back level at 4-all.
97.
It's almost one of them games you need to grind out a result. That's how it seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're
moving on
about the final. In a way, pretty similar to the UK Open final
49.
last March when Danny Noppert beat Michael Smith. It went all the way to a deciding leg, but in terms of numbers, the averages were decidedly average.
140.
You can sometimes get that in the final because of the obvious tension. They put a lot of work into the previous games today as well.
39. Chris, you require 124.
Do you know what, honestly, for the sake of repeat, I honestly believe someone could just win 3 legs on the spin. At this stage, it might actually be enough.
68.
They may get a maximum.
140.
Not quite.
Chris, you require 56.
Still wouldn't have been a finish though. That's how far behind in the leg he was.
Games on the 9th leg. Chris Dobey.
Last 6 legs
10th
all
leg
one on throw.
To throw first.
Dobey back in
Game
the
on.
lead. Cross hasn't been in front at any stage during this final.
139.
And as we approach the second break,
58.
6-4 or 5 apiece.
A new Masters champion.
$96.
The winner's check for £65,000.
140.
Good cover shooting and thinking as well.
134. 98. Rob, you require 132.
Can't separate them. Looks like we're heading into the break at 5 apiece.
Looking for a straight ton, which he gets.
130.
Well, just in case.
Rob, you require 32.
Just in case Cross misses. Well, this is arguably the biggest dart of the match.
24.
He has missed, astonishing.
Chris, you
His
require
finishing
75.
has been so good this weekend, so very, very good. And that could be a big moment. A 2-dart 75 finish. Cross misses 3 and Dobey punishes him, and how. And for the first time, you sense that Chris Dobey made sense. It's there for the taking. 6-4, Dobey leads the Masters final. He's beaten Cullen, Humphries, Van Duijvenbode and the world champion Michael Smith. Can he account for Rob Cross?
11th leg, Chris to throw first. Game on.
A quarter-final at the World Championship. Look, he won only 3 legs, didn't he? Against Michael Van Gerwen. He was, I was going to say he was swiped away, he was side-swiped away. 5-0 by Van Gerwen. But a World Championship quarter-final for Dobey was reward for a decentish year, but this
96.
This would just be huge for the Geordie.
Certainly would.
140.
He's in such a good position now, playing well. Hasn't had to play his best, it has to be said. So that's still in the locker, possibly. It's all about keeping his concentration and focus on that dartboard and nothing else.
140.
Well, talked about a 3-leg run.
138.
If Dobey wins this, it is 3 legs on the spin. Will it be significant in the final? Can Rob Cross summon up something special?
58. Chris, you require 84.
He won't be happy with that one, but there's no drama at this moment in time. He's making one though.
20.
I think he's made a right royal mess of that. That's the polite way of saying that That wasn't very good. But this is not bad from Cross.
171.
Well, from absolutely nowhere, Dobie is under pressure. But it's his own fault. He's only going to get one dart at this.
48.
Wow.
Robbie required
Well, a
171
from Rob Cross. He was nowhere near in this leg.
Just shows you you've got to stay in the leg, give yourself a chance.
But Dobie's previous visit, and now Rob Cross has made a mess of it in the wrong.
Christie requires 16.
In the wrong double. 12 missed darts from Dobie, 14 missed darts from Rob Cross.
Games from the 11th leg. Chris Dobie.
And he pitches it. He's won 3 on the spin.
Throw fist. Game on.
It isn't pretty. It isn't spectacular.
96.
But at the moment for Chris Dobie, it's very effective.
He won't care. He really won't. He's going to take it leg by leg. He's got a good lead.
57.
He knows his opponent's not firing on all cylinders.
$99.
What a chance that was, Cross.
Well, the 171, he deserved the shot, but
58.
I think Dobie could hardly believe that he so nearly made a Horlicks of the leg.
Horlicks? Other brands are available.
Your cup of tea later.
43.
Yeah, as you said a little earlier, Alan, it looks like it just getting there, just getting
140.
over the finishing line. At the moment, that winning post is quite a bit nearer for Chris Dobie than it is for Rob Cross.
58.
Now, this is a chance again.
$58.
Scrappy.
It's also at a point as well that Chris Dobie's got to be aware of, that he thinks he's going to win it when he hasn't. He's got to make sure he just keeps his composure all the way through. He's in a great position. He's playing decent
91.
enough. He's playing just enough to be better than Rob Cross.
$56.
It's all very puzzling.
Robbie require 114.
He's got to start nailing these.
94. Chris, you require 132.
Now, what a time this would be for a show-stopping finish. Dobie looking at 132, and Rob Cross has dropped the dart again behind him. Treble 19 would lead the ball.
92.
15 missed
Robbie
darts at double
required
from
20.
Rob Cross in the final. Cannot afford to miss here.
No, definitely not. No.
Games from the 12th leg.
It's the double 10.
Rob Cross, 13th leg, Christopher
To back within
first.
2. But he has to increase his scoring power.
131.
Well, for Dobie, I think there's little doubt now that the adrenaline will start kicking in a lot more.
134.
Will the nerves hit?
It's not looking
Superb.
likely at the moment, is it?
180.
Superb from Dobie.
$135.
as he did against Michael Smith in the semi-finals. So far, Chris Dobey,
125.
steady if unspectacular, is doing what he needs to do. And he's left 65 after 9 to re-establish a 3-leg lead.
Yes, mountain to climb for Rob Cross.
93.
And it's an even bigger mountain when you know you're not playing that well. That's the difference, I think.
Lovely dart.
Game
Brilliant. Best leg of the game of the final. Chris Dobey with an 11-darter.
Rob to throw first. Game on. $140.
Rob Cross has got to start firing here before it's too late, before he runs out of legs.
180.
Oh, this is brilliant from Chris Dobey. He really is taking the moment.
Well, he's taking it to Cross here.
137.
But Cross with back-to-back 2 big treble visits of his own.
No, he's not gonna, is he? No, he's not.
121.
Shouldn't say things like that.
A long way off, actually.
But Cross just under a little pressure again here.
57.
What a chance this is for Chris Dobey. Brilliant dart.
100.
That'll do nicely.
Rob, you require 167.
May have to take this out. Good start. Oh. He needs the ball.
This would be. He was that close. What a shot that would have been.
Chris, you require 100.
Now, is this the moment? Is this possibly match point for Dobey? Got to be tops, tops. Got to be tops, tops. Dazzling! Dobey goes 9-5 up. A huge cheer from Mum, acknowledged by his opponent. And Chris Dobey is 2 legs away from the biggest win of his life.
Well, he's increased his standard,
140.
averaging just shy of 95. That's a big increase.
Well, look at that. Look at the difference, 103.5 in this last little section. Talked about putting a run together. Dobey's won 5 out of the last 6 legs.
45.
Question now, can he hold it all together? He's in the final furlong.
He's looking good.
96.
Can he look great?
$58.
He needs more of this for any hope.
140.
Can't leave a finish now.
55.
A little edgy, this leg. His Cross favourite to get one back
58.
before the final break in this final.
$57.
Not enough for Dobey.
Rob, you require 127.
Well, he might gamble here. I think he is going for the ball.
102.
He had to, just in case, with his opponent just 2 legs away from winning the final.
And with a probable shot out.
114.
Almost.
Rob, you require 25.
Agonisingly close for Dobey. To stay in it, you feel, Rob Cross.
Games from the
9-6
50
it
flag.
is.
Rob Cross.
Dobey misses one dart for a brilliant finish for a 10-5 lead in the Masters final. But on we go. Cross stays alive. Come back for the finale. Is it another major for Rob Cross, or is it a first TV crown for Chris Dobey? Of the Masters final. Is it going to be a night to remember for Chris Dobey? One dart, agonisingly close for a 10-5 lead. Rob Cross has broken back to 9-6. Dobey needs two more legs
Rob to the fist
to win the Masters.
Game on.
And it would be, let's be honest, the third consecutive year where we've seen an outsider win it. Clayton, Cullen. Is Dobey going to add his name to that list?
Well, there has to be a significant change, certainly from Rob Cross. Body language isn't great because he's not playing great.
134.
What a moment it would be for Chris Dobey. Can Cross find anything?
59.
Maybe that semi-final took it all out.
Maybe.
There's a lot of pressure and tension
135.
and energy put into that semi-final against Peter Wright.
I think if Dobey does win, he'll be in the same
100.
category as well. And I think all the other players were absolutely thrilled for Johnny Clayton when he won it 2 years ago. Ditto with Joe Cullen
43.
12 months ago. Two very popular and good guys on the tour, and you never hear anyone with a bad word to say against Chris Dobey.
Absolutely. It's the happy Masters.
99.
Getting closer.
Should stay there. What's he going to leave? Oh, he's going to leave a two-darter.
Rob, you require 144.
Putting one leg away and with the throw.
The nerves for Dobey. But just wait 1 second. Just wait 1 second. Surely he can't. He can, you know. What a finish. From absolutely nowhere, Rob Cross takes out 144. Chris Dobey was sat on 49 to go 10-5 up. Is that a game changer?
Unbelievable.
97.
Where did that come from? It just didn't look likely. Will that be a spark for Rob Cross? He's been waiting for one all the way through this final.
Well, Dobey missed a dart
134
to go 10-5 up. He was sat on 49 to go 10-6 up, and Rob Cross does that.
95.
This isn't over yet.
Wow.
But how are you, if you're Chris Dobey, what are you thinking now? What are you feeling now?
99.
Still in a good position. He's on throw here.
133.
It's not a finish, but he will take that with open arms.
Every day of the week.
He's got to be careful here. That's why he switched to the 18s, but has to hit a treble 20 to leave a finish. Otherwise, it's 6 starts for Dobey to go one leg away from the title.
Cross not yet able to build on that 144 finish, and Chris Dobey here deserves all the credit in the world. He's left 36 after 12. He hasn't let that 144 from Cross get to him one bit. Now he's got to finish the job to go within one of the title.
57. Chris, you require 36.
What a great response from Dobey.
Games from
Quick,
the 17th
quick, run,
leg.
run!
Chris Dobey. 18th leg, Rob 2 for Chris. Game on.
Look at that.
Quick, look at him. Nearly as quick as his hero, Alan Shearer.
85.
Not quite. He's one away from winning a big TV title.
134.
You can feel the sense of anticipation, the tension, the drama, the excitement.
140.
Tenfold.
$100.
Trying to G himself up. He knows he's one leg away from his greatest moment in darts.
80.
Can he do it here?
$97.
Good thinking.
What a way to do it as well. Wow.
$96. Chris, you require 170.
Ooh, there's one. There's two to win the title.
129. Rob, you require 100.
Wow. Almost. What a valiant effort.
He may look at treble 16 here, you know. So Chris Dobey.
43. Chris, you require 41.
For the biggest moment of his darting career. And look at that. Look at that. Double 16 for Dobey. Nerves, pressure,
Rob, you require
pressure
57.
for Chris Dobey. 3 match darts.
With added tension.
Oh, Cross has hit the singles 3. Well, it's unfathomable. Oh, he's hit the single 11. Oh, what a mess.
What is going on?
Unbelievable drama. And Chris Dobey steps up now with 3 darts in his hand. And it is delight for Dobey. Chris Dobey is the Masters champion. In his first big TV final, Chris Dobey is the winner. Tears and emotion from his mum Lisa. What a moment for the Dobey family. What a moment for Chris Dobey. And you can't take it away. Look at that picture. It means that much. And it really does mean that much. Chris Dobey has beaten Joe Cullen, Luke Humphries, Dirk van Dijvenbode, Michael Smith, and now Rob Cross. Johnny Clayton, a surprise winner 2 years ago. Joe Cullen last year. What a dart! How on earth did he find a way over that one? Through the flights. And that is what it means for Hollywood. And the Hollywood star shines bright, shines brightest of all. What a moment for Chris Dobey. One of the good guys. And he's won a big TV title. Amazing. Rob Cross just fell short. Never really in the final, he thought. And I can't wait to hear what Chris Dobey has to say. The number 21 in the world. He's £65,000 richer. But he won't bother about that now. He is the Masters champion 2023.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for our presentation. Would you please welcome, on behalf of the Professional Darts Corporation, the head of commercial, Mr. Adam Perfect. And on behalf of our title sponsors, Kazoo, would you please welcome the senior sponsorship manager, Becky Hampton. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your runner-up receiving £30,000 in the trophy, and it goes to Voltage, Rob Cross.
Rob, come here, Rob. We're going to do you first. Look, I know it's not the result you wanted in the final. Some of the stuff you played here this weekend has been absolutely sensational, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, after today, Peter let me off in the semi, you know. Peter would have given Chris a better final. I didn't think that I was good enough in the final, and I was rubbish, really. I'm going to give a Van Gogh an interview now. I wasn't phenomenal, but it's the way it is. But this boy here, he's a great boy, and he deserves all the luck in the world. I would say that. I've had a great time in Milton Keynes with the fans. But yeah, for me, it wasn't there. I was finished.
Well, the last 12 months in general, the way you've been playing, winning titles again, making major finals, it was only in Minehead you made one as well. You said it earlier on today, Rob Cross is back, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm going home to spend some time with my family, and that's all I want to be. I'm a family man, and that's where I am. But a great crowd, great place, and fair play to Chris. He deserves that. I didn't play well enough.
However, a great runner-up, Milton Keynes. Your runner-up, Voltage, Rob Cross.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for as we crown our winner, receiving the trophy, £65,000, and for the very first time in his career, a TV title. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, our winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kazoo Masters champion, Hollywood Chris Dobey!
Chris, this is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for years. You're a major champion. How are you feeling?
Lost for words. Crowd's been magnificent all weekend, and I've just plodded along and finished well here and there. Took my chances, as you could see, a bit nervy on the end again, but hey, a win's a win.
Well, talk us through the end of that final, because for a moment it looked like you might win it with a 170. Then it looked like hitting a big number was becoming tricky. How did you manage to keep your cool?
I was just thinking Nathan Aspinall in the UK Open final, 170, and Martin, now same management. I was thinking it's an omen, but it wasn't to be. Hey, it's a win. I've hit the winning double at the end, and to win my first TV title, it's an honour.
That's it. Look, people have been talking about you for years and years and years, about your potential, about what you could achieve in this game. It's only your third senior title in PDC Darts, and yet it's a big one. Now the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look at what's happened the last 2 years in the Masters, it's opened many doors, obviously, for Joe and Johnny. Who knows, if I get the opportunity, it might be too soon, but you can't knock it on the head. I don't know yet, but like I say, whatever's thrown at us, I'll take it home now.
And look, everybody knows you're from a massive darting part of the country up in the northeast. You're from a big darting family as well. What's it like holding that in your hands with your friends, your family watching on? Some of them here, some of them back home in the northeast.
It'll stop me dad from shouting at us, that's for start. But I've got a lot of support back home. Even here tonight, I can't thank them enough. I've got my uncle, my mum, my sponsor, my manager. They travel all over to watch us, and for them to be here to witness that, it's a dream.
You mentioned Nathan Aspinall. He's a guy who beat Rob Cross in a final to win his first major title, and then just went bang straight into the elite, and has been there pretty much ever since, barring injury problems. That's where you see yourself, isn't it? I mean, what are the goals? I know win a TV title was one of them, but what now?
I can live with the best. I'm one of the big scorers. My finishing lets us down the majority of the time, and like I said, hopefully I've been pushing on the top 16 for the last few years now and haven't managed to get in, and that's my aim. And like I say, the way I'm playing, there's no reason why I can't go and do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a first-time major champion. He is your Masters winner, Hollywood Chris Dobey!
Well, exit stage left, Rob Cross leaving the victor centre stage to let it all soak in. And for the third consecutive year, the Masters has produced a relative outsider as victor. It was Johnny Clayton 2 years ago, clinching his first major and going on to ever greater things. After that, Joe Cullen last year, and now Chris Dobey. And that, in recent years, ever since the dominance of Michael van Gerwen here in Milton Keynes at the Masters came to an end, that has been the story of the Masters in January. And Chris Dobey is a worthy player to step up and to take on the responsibility of building on his achievements and doing what Clayton and Cullen have done before him. Very, very popular winner. Alan, alongside me, Chris Dobey is just one of those nice guys, isn't he?
Absolutely brilliant for him. You know, at the end of the day, he's a lot, but the last three winners of this event, Chris Dobey this one, Joe Cullen last year, and Johnny Clayton the year before, they're so popular on the circuit with all the other players because they are genuine nice lads. He will be getting a lot of texts tonight off all the other players congratulating him because he's genuinely such a nice lad. So pleased for him. Obviously, we wouldn't have picked this at the start because there were so many good players in the event, but he's, as with Joe last year, we've got so many players around that cusp that can all of a sudden just perform, and that's what you can achieve if you do that.
What a time to be a Geordie.
What a time to be a Geordie.
Hey.
What a time.
Brilliant. I'm with Alan. We've known and we've watched him, you know, come through the system and watched him evolve. He had a bit of a tough time. He went off the boil for a while, but listen, he's going in the right direction and picking up his first TV title is massive for him. And as he mentioned, speaking of Dan Dawson there, it's the pressure's off. Look what he's done to Michael Smith. You know, just in that 1 year when, you know, it all started with that US Darts Masters and then the Slam and then the Worlds and then Bahrain. We've seen it with Johnny Clayton. We've very nearly seen it with Joe Cullen, didn't we? He missed the dart at double 16 and not very far away either to be crowned Premier League champion. World's his oyster. He works hard. He's a nice kid. He's level-headed. If you've got any advice or he wants any advice, never scared to ask. And one of the most popular players on the circuit.
Yeah, I was just going to say level-headed, and that's exactly what he is. I mean, the next time I speak to him, we'll be talking about football. He won't mention this. We'll be talking about football because the chance of Newcastle and Man United playing in the final. But, I mean, he speaks well as well, doesn't he? We saw the interview there. He'll take anything that comes to him. He's not going to stand there and say, I should be in the Premier League. We have to remember he's played as a contender twice on the Premier League stage as well, but that's all down to the PDC. He's good enough, as he's proved tonight, and
Hollywood. He's Hollywood, isn't he?
He is the ideal poster boy for our sport. As you said, he talks well, interviews well, great with the media, great with the fans. It's lots of 1080s, and as we've seen, pulls out big clutch finishes, which, listen, viewers and people who attend live always love.
Well, if we look at the last leg, we pick it up, don't we? And this is such a key moment in the last leg where Chris, I should say, has got a chance of winning the title with a maximum 170, and he really went for it, didn't he?
Doing an Aspinall.
Yeah, it's been done a couple of times in history before in certain events, and it's obviously the showpiece.
Lloydie for the match play, wasn't it, against John Parr?
Absolutely, and it would have been a great moment. He couldn't believe he missed it, and then
but it just opened the door again for Rob, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I was a little bit surprised here. Some of his board management in the final can be a little bit questionable, but it's what you feel like at the time. But this was nearly in treble nine, which would have left double seven.
Yeah, look at the margins there, and he knows it.
Yeah, and that just unsettles you.
Remember the earlier dart in double 18, and it was just about hanging in. He had to run to the board.
To run to the board, didn't he? He survived a few scrapes. That was a sort of average marker. He had to shuffle across, didn't he? For space.
At this point now, I'm thinking, you know, of players that have survived match darts against them, have gone on to win it. And Peter Wright against Rob Cross missed multiple match darts, and I'm thinking, hello, his name's on the pot.
Yeah, I think his head was scrambled there. I don't think he expected another throw.
No.
Yeah,
he's come to the board. He's not playing his best. He's not playing his best all the way through this final. And he's just made a mess of it. You know, at least have one dart and miss it. But
and sometimes when you miss a single like that, you literally have no confidence in. You know, it's the biggest target on the board, and you know these can thread sort of the dart through the eye of a needle sometimes, but unable to do so there. And now I'm beginning to worry at this point.
Yeah, you didn't want him to miss again, because that would have been catastrophic in terms of what was going on in his head, where he's had that chance and all of a sudden, say Rob Cross won the next leg as an example, he would have been still thinking about the misses that he didn't take, obviously.
Class from Cross though in his chat with Dan Dawson, and he was right. He just didn't play well enough. Dobey, he's averaged pretty much 95 for the tournament from start to finish.
I was going to say, the consistency of the player all throughout the 5 rounds that he played, that was the hallmark of the way he approached this tournament. And, you know, he talks about his heavy scoring. Yeah. We actually didn't see too much of that from Chris en route to his title.
Staggering amount of 140s, 61 in the tournament.
But he was never in trouble. Not against any of these players, he was never in trouble. And that margin of victory in the final almost flatters Rob a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, look at some of them shots, that 144 that Cross took out from absolutely nowhere. He was very much doing like what Jose did against Michael. He was just somehow hanging on in there. But, he's played an absolute solid tournament. And what's frightening is he's way better than what we've seen. We've seen flashes of it, but he can play to a much higher standard. We've seen it on the Pro Tours many times.
He certainly can, yeah. And just back on Rob again, obviously he's had a fabulous tournament, and that game against Gary Anderson, that'll live long in the memory. That's one of the best games I've ever seen. I'd love to watch that one back from the start, but I think he just ran out of steam in the end there, because obviously the semi-final will have taken a lot out of him, not just physically but mentally as well, because it was a draining game. He just didn't seem to have any energy in the final.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous performance, wasn't it, Rob Cross, earlier on in that round where he's almost set the record in the tournament. So we know that there's much more from Rob Cross to come.
Rob Cross towards the back end, probably the last 3 or 4 months, has been playing back to somewhere near his best, and in this tournament we've seen him at his very best. That was his highest ever TV average, over a decent distance, and against a player who was playing equally as well. That's the impressive part for me, and how he dealt with the fact that I just can't shake this guy off, and he still maintained that level. And yeah, Rob Cross is going to be in the mix for many more titles this year.
All right, well, Alan, thank you very much for your company, and then Chris, very dapper.
Well
Chris.
done you stepping in, and get well soon, Jackie.
Get well, Jackie. Before we go, a reminder about the next darts here on ITV4, and it's a belter. In many ways, it's the best of them all, isn't it? Join us in Minehead for the FA Cup of Darts, the UK Open, which begins on Friday the 3rd of March. But before we all regroup in Somerset, it's time to bid farewell once more to Milton Keynes, home to the Masters, where tonight the scripts have been written most emphatically in Hollywood. Do join us in just over a month, and we'll regroup at the UK Open. See you there. Thanks.